Hello, this is KG Outdoors 16, and welcome to another episode of Weird Wednesday. Today, it will be a lot of interesting subjects, but a very short video because it's still like second day of spring, but still very cold outside. So, first up, for our topwater segment, is the one and only topwater frog with the hook embedded in it. And you could buy these hooks separately and put them on your own frog lure. But you basically fish this. You can walk the dog. If you don't know what walk the dog is, look it up. Basically, walk the dog is you reel and you pull back at the same time. Or what I like to do, I like to push back. I like to reel it in 3 times, wait, and do the same thing over and over. That works really good for these. Next up is this weird thing I found on the ground at my fishing spot. It's like it has the front of a popper and then it has the frog body, but I think it's pretty cool. It makes a lot of splash and you would fish it the same way as the topwater frog. I really like this because I use it on sunny days because the black appears against a white background, which is the sky. The white background's the sky. Now, many people don't use these anymore. They're called hula poppers. Yeah, hula poppers. They work very good, but I usually use these in old school bass tournaments where you use all vintage lures, because this is a pretty old lure, but they work pretty good. You could walk the dog on these or fish them like a popper where you reel it in and you jerk up on your rod so the lure goes down and this front makes a splash. I have a couple other down here. Like this one, it looks like a frog, and the hooks are very sharp, but it looks like a frog. It's a hula popper too. It's getting a bit rusty. That means I should replace it. Next up is the jitterbug, and I put this in here for beginner fishermen. I don't really like to use it, but you just reel it in basically, and it creates a topwater motion on the surface, causing bass to bite. I fish this in many weird ways. You can fish it anywhere you want. It's hard not to fish it incorrectly because there is no incorrect way. You basically reel it in, stop. You could walk the dog on it. You could do many different things with the jitterbug. Oh, I have these topwater frogs. They come in a lot more colors. Oh, what do I have? I have a mini hula popper. It's only about the size of my pinky. Next up is the popper. These things come in many shapes, sizes, colors. I mean, this is a very small. I fish up to like a 10-inch popper, maybe even bigger. But these things, you basically walk the dog, you reel it in, you fish it like any other topwater bait. You reel it in. If you're walking the dog and you jerk up and reel at the same time, it moves like that on top of the water. It creates a splashing in front of it, causing the fish to bite, and this is made to imitate a bait fish busting. Now, I like to get this in shad color or bait fish color if you're going to buy this. Next up is the holy grail of bass fishing, the spook. It's actually, wait, it's the Super Spook Junior, technically. I got it in baby bass color because the baby bass tend to bust on insects in July, May, June. And I like to use this and I catch some big ones on it. The Spook has an internal rattle system. And yeah, I mean this is the one that created the walk the dog motion. You jerk up on your rod and reel in, jerk up, reel in. And this is the lure you really want to walk your dog. That's probably the only way you can fish it. I mean, you can fish it in other ways, but this is the #1 way I'd suggest you fish it in, because you walk the dog, it creates rattling noise, and it creates surface movement. On to our next segment, a weird one. One last thing, I forgot about the buzzbait, which is kind of not smart of me, but this is a buzzbait. And this thing, it lays horizontally across the top of the water, and the silver blade keeps it up, and it makes some splashing, and it makes a lot of noise. Now, in order to fish a buzzbait correctly, you could put a trailer on there, but I don't. I do put a trailer hook on there in case the fish misses if there was no trailer hook here, the fish would miss cleanly. But this buzzbait's big enough it can catch almost anything. But I just wanted to cover the buzzbait very quickly. It's probably so big it can't fit in the frame. Next up, I was looking on the internet and I found this. I believe they're live target bait balls. Yeah, they're bait balls. It says the bait ball series right on the bottom. So don't quote me on that. It says it, quote the fishing lure. But I really wonder. I honestly think they would work, but I think that a largemouth bass or any fish that's going after this won't know the difference between this and a... Pretend this is a jerkbait. Don't they, like... It's not a jerkbait, I know that. But they look the same. Like, I know that fish will see the difference, but they created this to look like a school fish and supplement the umbrella rig or Alabama rig. I don't think so. This looks like a lip... It is a lipless crankbait mold with little fish painted on it. Has a rattle system. But I do like this, because I like to use this in the wintertime. I jerk it all the way down, and I like to hold it there for about a minute, and I get bites on this. But I just can't see this. I mean, it replicates a school fish to the person, but a school fish, I've never seen a school fish, like, literally that close together. They're usually a little bit spread out, and they all go in different directions. They're not like robots going like that in one direction. I mean, most of the cases they will, but most of them dart off and come back together differently. Comment down below about these. I really want to know your opinion about these. Comment on my Instagram page about these live target bait balls. If it's not live target, I'll let you know in the next scene. So, it is the live target bait ball. It's just so weird saying that, but it's the name of it. Let's see if it focuses that time. Are you kidding me? Oh yeah, it says on top of the lure too. I should have looked there first, but I'm not going to find it on the tail of the lure. Oh, it even says it on top of this one. At least if you're putting your name on your lure, at least make it a little bit bigger so your, well, yeah, so your audience and viewers can see it. This lure is oddity. Has to go up there. That new duck lure, that rat lure. Like, that, those two are the most weirdest lures I've ever seen. And they catch fish too. I've honestly never seen a rat swim across a lake or a body of water in my life. Now, I've seen baby ducks get eaten by northern pike, but I've never seen a rat swim across a lake. Now, I've seen them... Well, no, I haven't. I've seen videos of them do it at night, but not in the daytime. But anyway, let's go on to the next segment, a weird one. So right now, I'm going to teach you the types of duck calling I like to use. That makes sense. The duck calls I use, and what they mean in duck language. No one really understands duck language, actually. But anyway, the first call I like to use a lot is the feeder chuckle. And this signifies that the ducks are feeding and they're happy and they're content. This also can lure in any stray ducks or a flock of ducks that alerts them that there's ducks below feeding. I really like this call when the birds are up close, so you don't make a lot of noise and scare them away. Next up is the simple quack. Simple. Now this quack is used to make many other duck calls in the duck calling world. And I really like the simple quack, especially when there's a lone bird and you just quack once. Then you do feeder chuckle and it brings it right in. Next up is the comeback call. Now that one is used to tell the birds to come back, turn around, and come back in the landing place. The landing place. The decoys. The landing place. But if you combine all these calls together, you can make a sequence like this. Now that is my sequence for calling competitions. I would not actually use that in the woods. That's too aggressive. I would use a comeback call to get the birds in. When the birds are coming around, I do feeder chuckles. But when they're coming in and landing, you don't need to blow your duck call at them. They're already coming in. But if they start flying away, I would give them a little more, a comeback call so they circle back in and they'll land. That's what I like to use for my duck calling techniques. On next episode of Weird Wednesday, I'll teach you how to duck call. That should be very entertaining. So, thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to my Instagram. No, it's follow it. If I get to 500 followers on Instagram, I will do a challenge. I haven't decided yet. Comment down below. Comment on my Instagram page for 500 follower on Instagram challenge. It sounds very pitiful, but oh well. See ya.